You know, I was a little worried that I wasn't going to have much to talk about this week, but Square Enix had my back apparently. Every week, I make a video detailing any video game news that interests me, because although Nico and I play a lot of games, he has a tendency to be pretty oblivious to news about them, while I, on the other hand, am pretty obsessed with it. So here's everything I think Nico should know about in game news the week of April 10th, 2022. First off, notable releases. This past week saw the release of LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga on PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC, and Chrono Cross The Radical Dreamers Edition for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. I started playing Chrono Cross as soon as it came out, but I'm trying to get through my current playthrough of Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age first. Once I really dig into Chrono Cross, I'm planning on getting everything, all the characters and all the endings. That's going to be a project. I can't wait. On April 5th, Epic Games announced that the Unreal Engine 5 is now available. As I am a business manager and accountant by trade, I admit that sometimes I have a hard time wrapping my head around what a video game engine is. True story, and feel free to laugh at me, I do all the time. In the late 1990s up to the early 2000s, I thought that the first-person shooter game Unreal Tournament and the Unreal Engine were the same thing. In my defense, back then I only played JRPGs and I had no idea how games were made. Anyway, the blog post, which you can find in a link in the description below, has a list of key new features and a ton of information about what this new engine can do. There's way too much for me to list here, but two things really stood out to me. First, Lumen, which they describe as a fully dynamic illumination solution that enables you to create believable scenes where indirect lighting adapts on the fly to changes to direct lighting or geometry. I love playing games and just wandering around looking at light and shadows. Second, it seems like there was a lot of focus on making team collaboration and the ability to reuse assets and animations easier. Video games are getting bigger, along with the teams that make them, so adding tools to decrease the number of times someone has to reinvent the wheel should help a lot. I can't wait to see what game developers do with these new tools. It's kind of techie in spots, but I highly recommend checking out the blog post to see all the cool things that this new engine can do. I've also linked the keynote presentation. Very cool stuff. Back 4 Blood's first expansion, Tunnels of Terror, has a launch trailer and is releasing this week on April 12th. According to the trailer, there are 2 new cleaners, 3 new ridden, 7 new weapons, and 7 ridden hives, which are basically co-op dungeons. Nico and I really need to get back to playing this game. It's a lot of fun. As of the time of recording this video, there's no information on price yet, but I'm assuming that if you bought the annual pass version or whatever it's called, this would be included. You can check out the whole video at the link in the description below. This year marks the 20th anniversary of Kingdom Hearts, the Square Enix and Disney collaboration that debuted on the PlayStation 2 back in March of 2002. Since then, it has spawned over 10 games across multiple platforms. In a Kingdom Hearts 20th anniversary announcement trailer linked below, they announced 3 things. More content for the existing mobile game Kingdom Hearts Union Key called Dark Road, an upcoming mobile game called Kingdom Hearts Missing Link for Android and iOS platforms, and Kingdom Hearts 4. Missing Link is scheduled to go into closed beta sometime this year. Hopefully when it releases, someone will provide a synopsis of the story since I don't play mobile games. I really wish they'd develop these for Switch instead. As for Kingdom Hearts 4, it looks like Sora, Donald, and Goofy will be back for what they're calling an epic new storyline called the Lost Master Arc. I absolutely love the Kingdom Hearts series. How could I not? Disney and Final Fantasy are 2 of my absolute favorite things in the universe. Still, as I watched this new trailer, all I could think of was, come on Nomura, let Sora rest. He's been through enough. There's no information yet on release window or platform for Kingdom Hearts 4, but I'll definitely be keeping my eyes and mouse ears open for more news in the future. And finally, Final Fantasy XIV Online Endwalker's major first content patch is releasing this week. Patch 6.1 is scheduled to go live after a full 24 hours of maintenance at 3 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time on Tuesday, April 12th. The preliminary patch notes were published a few days ago, and there's a lot to look forward to. I already mentioned a bunch of stuff from the live letter in my video last week, but after reading through these patch notes, here are some other notable additions and changes. There will be new role quests for tanks, healers, and the 3 DPS jobs. Getting your level 90 Tombstone weapon will now only take 4 weeks instead of 7. And probably the note that amused me the most was that you can now be revived in battle if you get knocked off the arena in Titan normal and hard fights. Now that we have new content, we'll probably be playing 14 a bit more again. After all, we're still trying to conquer Pandemonium Savage. And that's it for this week's game news. Join me again next week for more news and adventure. Until then, play lots of games and have an awesome week.